Max, would you like to touch on the good oil?
That's probably one of the most pleasurable things I ever did, and it was completely breaking new ground when we looked at this. And I remember Coralie bringing this script in, and I thought, my God, you know, it's so complicated for someone like me. I wasn't even technically a theatre man or anything like that, and I remember looking at this whole thing and thinking it almost seemed impossible. But once we broke it down into little bits, and we had some wonderful people working there. Really, we did. I mean, you think about the guy that made that set. What was his name?
Wasn't it marvellous?
Yeah, the set was so the dead spit of
St George's
Terrace. It was unbelievably so. And the quality of the performance. Now, it turned out to one of those things that it wasn't a slick production. What it was a halfway between a theatrical production and a television production, because it was, the rules of theatre were there, but it was sort of, the edges were taken off it, if I can put it that way. You know what I'm getting to, Coralie? The edges were taken off it, so it was sort of softened to a being a something which was people could grab hold of it.
Strike, 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 strike! Bye, 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 bye!
And so it turned out to be a good story, but it was, when you think back to the days, and these guys remember the fact that we had cameras that had to be moved. We didn't have zooms, there were no zooms on them in those days.
Yes.
They were cameras that had what they call dollies, and they were wheels, you had to move them.
Yeah.
And if you want to go somewhere, you move it like this and move it. And some of the work that was done on the cameras I thought was absolutely magnificent.
Thank you. I think it was magnificent because you did it.
No, but the cameras were absolutely beautiful, and the lighting was good. The performers worked well. We also only had 2 tape machines. Now, when you've only got 2, you can have one spinning, because you can't mix them together. If you've got 3, you can put 2 things on one and then blend them and record them on the third. And that's the sequence. We only had 2, so we had to do long segments. And they had to be, you know, choreographed and performed all together, one following the other, so that you didn't have to stop and join them. But it was, in my book, in those days, and some of the sets and things that were done was absolutely beautiful. And the storyline was tremendous. And what's more, something Coralie has never been given credit for, is the music. The music, to my mind, was good enough to go on the hit parade. It was good material. And it was, if it had been anywhere else in Australia, I reckon it had been perhaps gone to the eastern states and to a big production or whatever it was, it would have been hit music. That's my humble opinion.
Well, I was in the Good Oil when Coralie did it at the Playhouse. And I mean, a very, very minor part, I can tell you, but just the same, we loved the music. For years later, we would all sing the songs from the Good Oil. They were just so beautiful, and I think today they would still work very well.
So do I. I reckon the whole thing should be done again today, but you know, it was the first time I ever knew of a musical being done in a television studio, and I was flabbergasted. I mean, I was pretty green in those days, but I had some very wonderful people around me, and it just was, you know, I reckon it was, when I look at it even today, I don't feel any, I don't feel like smiling. My kids would probably, but I don't feel like, I feel it's still a good, solid performance that you're liable to see anywhere today. And I say congratulations, Corey. That was a masterpiece, and it should have gone further than it did.
I absolutely agree.
Thank you very, very much, the pair of you. I couldn't have done it without you, and I mean it. Thank you.